o'clock around the clock for week 8. Last week was scary, just as scary as my backdrop today. No special effects and crazy things for Halloween this year. I know last year's was great. I did a whole costume thing, and it was just hilarious. And went 3-0, I think, that year. Anyway, last week we had our first losing week of the season. We were 0-2-1. Yes, we keep getting these pushes on my game of the year, nonetheless. And, well, guess what? We're still 67%, which is great for picking 3 games per week. We are going to go 3-0 on a bounce back this week for Halloween because it's my favorite time of year, and I love to trick or treat and take from the book. And you know how it is. You go up to him like this with your sheet, and he drops a rock in your bag. Well, not this week. We're going to come back on that bookie. We are going to kick his ass. 1 o'clock lock this week. I have Minnesota at Carolina. Now, here's the tale of 2 teams with 2 quarterbacks, rookies picking this year, that are going to be squaring off against each other with Ponder and Cam Newton. However, Cam Newton is just a monster, fantasy-wise, etc., putting up crazy numbers, winning games. I know they haven't won a lot of games, but he plays to win the game. Adrian Peterson might be hurt. He's banged up. I don't know what's going on with him right now. Ponder, I mean, Minnesota's just in disarray. They can't stop anybody. They might be able to score because this might be a break for them with Carolina being a little banged up on defense. And as a matter of fact, that's what I'm getting to. The total in that game is 48. I see both teams probably running and throwing the ball, getting points. 48 should not be it should be a very small number for these 2 teams to cover. I'm looking at least 25 to 30 points, if not for one, for both of these teams this Sunday. Again, weak defenses, a need to score. Somebody's got to win. They're playing out of desperation. They're going to pull all the stops. They're going to be running everything. Look for Cam Newton to be really big this week. The running game to look good in Carolina. Adrian Peterson's banged up. Not sure what's going to happen there, but look for Minnesota to put some points on the board against this weak defense, and that's what we're looking for over the 48 in the Minnesota game. That's my 1 o'clock lock. 4 o'clock lock. Buffalo at home, so to speak, in Toronto, Canada, facing the Washington Redskins. Now, Washington, since they've shot their mouth off, has been a travesty all year, trying to figure out what running back is a fantasy headache to use. But not only that, in regular football, outside of fantasy, Mike Shanahan's not giving this team enough time to gel. I know they're banged up. I know Hightower's been banged up. Halou looks like he might be the guy to go. We're not sure. But in this game, I can tell you one thing for sure. Buffalo is 0-3 in Toronto. They have no real home fans, no home base there. But you know what? That's when they weren't that great of a team. This year, they're good. Ryan Fitzpatrick runs that team up and down the field consistently. I see no reason why they shouldn't do that against Washington. I look for Freddie Jackson to have a big game. Let's face it. The Redskins have given up 367 yards rushing the last 2 weeks. Bills coming off a bye week. They have Fred Jackson, and they are rushing at an average of 141 yards a game. Those 2 collided. Look for a big running game out of Freddie Jackson. Look for a final victory, finally, here in Toronto, Canada, for the Buffalo Bills. Now, my 8 o'clock lock, oh, God help me for taking this, but this is the week to do it. Dallas and Philly, it's the only game at 8 o'clock on Sunday night, so I got to pick it. Who do I like? Not really. Dallas. Why do I like Dallas? I'll tell you why I like Dallas. Dallas, number 1, DeMarco Murray had a monster week, 253 yards last week. I know. Philadelphia has historically this season been horrible against the run. I look for them to have a strong game running. I think they're going to take the ball more out of Tony Romo's hands, which is better for everybody, except for fantasy owners. But I look for them to run the ball more, and that defense is very underrated. Rob Ryan has that defense humming, and I look for that defense to show up here in this game. Eagles are banged up. Eagles, Vic, he looks like a shell of what he was last year, which I knew was going to happen. He was going to come back to earth. Deshaun Jackson should have a pretty decent game, but outside of that, LaShawn McCoy is going to have a tough time running against that Dallas D. I don't look for the receivers to have that great of a day. Look for Dallas. They're getting 3.5. I think Dallas is the much better team. Second half of the season, Dallas is going to be the team to beat in that division. You watch. They think they've got the bugs out. So that's my 8 o'clock lock. Dallas plus 3.5. Not going to disappoint you this week. Last week, again, was the only losing week of the season, and we still had a push. But we are 67% on the year, which is still great with that losing week. So don't worry, folks. We're back on track. We're 3-0. Take it to the book. Take it to the bank. And have a happy Halloween.